You're tuned in to Porch Talk with Rev Pat, where raw, real talk rules. So sit back and relax with that delicious cup of coffee or tea or your favorite glass of wine as Rev Pat delivers real, transparent, and raw conversations about all things life. Let's get started.
Welcome to another episode of Porch Talk with Rev Pat. I am your host, Rev Pat, and I am so very glad you decided to join me this day. You're in for a treat. We are going to be talking to somebody that's probably a little bit more raw than I am, and that's Marklyn Tyrone Johnson. He has a new book coming out. He's a podcaster, but he's also a stand-up, and he's not a standing-up comedian today. He's a sitting-down comedian, but he already has me. Trying to get through this intro, y'all. As you know, Porch Talk is unscripted, so we get to hold real raw conversations, raw enough to be real, but not raw enough to offend. So we're going to keep it at that. But he's probably going to have to come back and do some bonus content for me, because after I'm just reading a few pages of this, we need to be on the bonus content. So thank you for joining me. Grab your coffee, grab your tea, even your glass of wine, and let's get talking. Marklyn, now you know I'm trying to not laugh because y'all, Marklyn sent me just a few pages of his book. And is it thoughts on life in general? People get offended over stupid stuff. Well, what's the name of the book?
The name of the book is called Facebook Conversations, the Good, the Funny, the Ugly. Facebook Conversations, the Good, the Funny, the Ugly. It's my second book published.
Now, y'all, he sent me a few pages, and when I started reading it, I was like, whoa, I thought I was raw. And then I flipped over. But he just told me that this is real conversation happening in real time on his Facebook feed. And I'm telling y'all, what these people are saying is crazy. So I told you I'm unscripted, and that's why I like to have the little chat before, because then that gives me an idea of what I'm loving this right now, because I want you back. I have a podcast page, or whatever you want to call it, where it holds all of my podcasts, but I also am able to do bonus content. And the bonus content is called Beyond the Porch. And that means I get to be me. I get to just talk.
Is that when we sip a little tea and we get a little bit of beer, a little whiskey, and we just go at it?
Yep. That's what you do. And I know people probably are really thrown off by my intro because I say grab a cup of coffee, cup of tea, or even a glass of wine. Look, I can't see these folk. I don't know what they drink. I don't know what's mixed in with their coffee. I don't know what's mixed in. So I may as well say, okay, if you need to get your glass of wine. Sometimes come on. I like a wine cooler. I like a glass of wine. Shoot me. That's okay. So that's why I do that. And I want those listening as well as those I'm interviewing. Now, if you pop up here at 9:00 with a Jack Daniels in your hand, I got a problem. We might not do that interview because you scaring me.
It's 5:00 somewhere all the time, just so you know.
Well, it's really 6:00 while I'm talking to you, Real Pat, being okay. All right. And I don't live where you live, so you can get away with that. But okay. But now I got to talk about this because this is a real deal with me. I feel you. Let me give you my opinion on Facebook, and then you give me yours. I'm on Facebook, but I'm on Facebook because Facebook is a necessity, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to get your stuff out there, whatever you're going to do, Facebook is the way to do it. Now, Facebook is a trip because Facebook wants you to use their platform, but they want you to use their platform their way.
Yes.
Now, their way is kind of different if it's people that they like.
Yes.
Now, if you're not on that list, you have problems. Let me give you an example. My daughter posted a ugly picture of me on Facebook last year for my birthday. I wanted to kill her. Because I'm like, if you don't take that picture down, it was one of those throwback pictures where, I had that whole I think I'm cute look going on with that Dolly Parton hairstyle where y'all a black woman with Dolly Parton hair like up this high. And because I had naturally long hair, and she posted it. And these are the kind of pictures that you hide. You don't want nobody to see this picture. Are you serious? So she posted it, and it was in jest. I said, I'm going to kill you if you don't take that post down. 3 minutes later, I get this notification. Warning, your page will be shut down. And I'm like, what? I'm under violation. What did I do? What did I say? So I'm scrolling and I'm looking for I don't post political things. I don't post vulgar things. What are you talking about? That one comment, I'm going to kill you if you don't take this down. They took as a threat. Seriously?
Yeah.
And you have people posting if they're going to hang, shoot, or whatever. And you pick that one and you didn't even look at, so who's looking? Because obviously you're not taking anybody's comments and actually looking at them. You're looking for keywords and whatever. So you're going to shut my page down. And
100%. It's,
so I understood it.
What's going on with it, and not to interrupt you, I'm sorry. What's going on with it is they have people that don't understand joking around. They have people that don't understand tongue-in-cheek comments. And for instance, I can give you an example just like that. I posted a picture about my favorite season of ESPN volleyball season, women's volleyball season, right? So it's a picture of the women's volleyball team, and they all had, nice derrieres, right? And everyone got the joke. Like, obviously, it's a picture. You get what I'm saying without me saying it, right? So a woman comments on my page and says, I could not believe when I was playing volleyball, all the guys that would come into the gym to watch us. And then I said, yes, because men are pervs. A man is saying men are pervs. I got dinged for saying men are pervs. Like, so you're telling me I, as a man, can't say men are pervs, right? And again,
let's not even go there. I want to know, why in the world do I need to, what is it? It's the new thing. How do I want to be known? She, her?
First of all,
I'm like, what is this?
I don't get that, the whole she, her, or him, because the people that don't even want the real actual noun or pronoun for them, they use they and their. I went to school. They is plural. They are, all this and them. That is plural. I only see one of you. If you're telling me there's two of you, maybe you need to take meds so that you're not acting bipolar anymore, so that we know that there's two. I mean, I don't know. Maybe what you need to do. Goodness. Maybe what you need to do is 1 minute. You need to call yourself Steve and Stephanie. What you need to say is, my name is Steve Stephanie. Then I can say it to them. If you say that your name is Steve, like, hey, how you doing? My name is Marklyn. How are you doing? My name is Steve Stephanie. Depending on my mood, I'm Stephanie. Depending on my mood, I'm Steve. Just so you know. So when you refer to me, please call me them. Okay, I can get down with that because at least you've explained it. But when I see one of you and you're telling me to revert to you as them, I'm sorry. But there's only one of you. My English teacher would roll in her grave that I'm using plurals for singular.
And mine too. And I'm way older than you, so I already know. But let me ask you this. Is this what it's going to be like reading your book? Am I just going to be on the flow, rolling? Because I'm going to tell you, the funniest biography I ever read, for real, is Tiffany Haddish. Funniest biography. I have never read a book where I'm just out loud, boo-hoo, laughing, mascara running, just going, I can't believe she wrote this. I mean, that's how that book was.
I can't say, I will tell you this. I can't say it's going to be as raw. You know what I mean? Like, it's raw. I don't know if it's going to be as funny, because what I did, and I did this on purpose, I intentionally put a lot of political, a lot of social stuff in there, because at our core, we're all a little political. We're all a little social. And I think some of us are just unaware of how other people act and how other people think. And what I did was I decided to put in conversations that I'm like, I think people can learn from these conversations. And what was even funnier for me was, as I was compiling all the stories, it was around the time that my father had passed away. So this book, literally, if I can explain this to you real quick, this book is 6 years old.
Whoa.
The conversations are older than that and coming forward like I've added some newer conversations into it, but the book originally was 6 years. It's from 6 years ago. And I actually published a book before then called Lessons from a Sugar, Honey, and Iced Tea Talker, right? That's a motivational book, and that did pretty well. But then I was like, I've got to release this one. People really need to understand the way people act when they get behind that keyboard. People really need to understand how people have all the machismo. They have all the arrogance, all the smugness. But the second you see them face to face, they either want to smile to your face or they have nothing to say. And unfortunately, America hates an outspoken black man. I could be outspoken if I'm doing comedy. I could be outspoken if I'm just speaking to black people. But I grew up in a white community, and for me, I used to sit at the table or hang out with some of these people, and before Obama, they would say some of the craziest stuff in front of me because I was the okay black guy, so I was like, oh, let's start exposing people for their truth. And I did it.
Yeah, and that's a conversation that I think we shy away from it, because even as you're talking, let me just be honest, I go, ooh, that's kind of deep. That first response to that.
Yeah.
Has a black man, has a black woman, you do that. And I don't know if that's because we are so conditioned to feel uncomfortable talking about ourselves in that manner. And I truly do admire the Toni Morrisons and the women that are they just have that boldness. But I'm just an everyday, ordinary wife, mother, whatever. And we have to live in this real world. And in this real world, yes, we are conditioned. I don't need a psychologist. Look, let me be real. I don't need Oprah to explain to me being black, because I know what it's like to be black, and I know what it's like to be black in the real world. Because Oprah, you can talk to me from stage and from your home that you paid probably $5, $6, $7 million for. 25
million, but who's counting?
Okay, 25, but it don't matter. You can really talk to me from that perspective about being black being in the real world as a black woman.
Yes.
But you still don't get it. And I don't care how many times you say where you came from, you're there anymore.
Exactly.
And you don't get that anymore. And I'm sorry. I know y'all love Oprah. Don't get mad. In some instances, I do too, because at least she does do things too. But no, I was about to lie. No, I don't. Because as I think about the things that she produces, some of them are derogatory to me.
Well, there's a lot of black, in general, even in a black community, there's a lot of black male hate. The black men.
I saw something. Was that last year or year before where they called her out and said that that's kind of what they got from the things that she produces.
And it's not only that. And here's the thing. I don't have anything against homosexuality at all. I don't. But if you look at a lot of the stuff that they're producing, it's black male bashing, homosexuality upliftment. Like, let's lift up the homosexuality in our community. And for us, it's like, well, why are you bashing black men that we're already prosecuted in general in society? We're not allowed. We have to be docile. We have to be unintimidating. We have to do as we're told, and it's amazing how I call it indoctrinated implicit bias. And I don't think everyone's racist by nature. I honestly don't. I think what it is we've been indoctrinated on how we can receive certain things from certain people. If you look at Martin Luther King, if you look at Malcolm X, prominent black men that were shot and killed, who Martin Luther King is like, I want everyone to get along, right? But he was shot and killed because he still stood up he was a prominent man that spoke up for the black community, and white people started to follow him. They started to admire him. They started to understand, let's get rid of him. If you ask a lot of people today from the white community, well, who in the black community do you admire? They'll tell you somebody like Candace Owens. And I'm like, Candace Owens Candace Owens doesn't represent the black community. She says that garbage in front of a 98 to 99% white audience because for a check. And here's the deal. Let her get her dollar. She's earned whatever she gets. If that's what she does to get her money, more power. But she doesn't speak towards the black community at all. And nobody can name somebody.
Wait a minute. Let's take a pause. Look, this is only my 11th episode. Don't get me kicked off of nowhere. I'm trying to shoot for long lasting and longevity, but this might be I'm just me. But I'm saying it because we don't have these conversations, and that's why we begin to get uncomfortable.
And that's the problem.
The truth, because if I let him say that, are they on my podcast or are they? But we're sitting and we're thinking this
definitely,
but we don't believe that we have the power or the ability. And look. Let's just be real, because I'm everyday Joanne, whatever you want to call it. So we know how to move and navigate so that we are able to continue to provide for our families. It's a necessity. I'm sorry, it's a necessity, because if I have to get up every day and go to work and deal with what I deal with, and it's gonna put food on the table, whether I'm a black man or a black woman, it doesn't matter. I got to do what I got to do to put food on my table.
Definitely.
But I cannot, and we cannot ignore that. No, I can't move the same way Sally blue-eyed, blonde hair can.
Yeah.
I can't. And I hear, if you dare to say what you say in front of me, I'm supposed to just,
You're supposed to accept it.
But wait a minute. I'm not racist.
No, it's an acceptance.
You're spewing something, and
it's the dismissal.
Somebody told you it's okay, and then you want me to dismiss it. Let me tell you I'm gonna let you just freestyle here. But you want to know what bothers me is that if I have this much in my voice, if what I say comes across as stern or firm, let's say I'm standing up for myself and I'm saying, Marklyn, look, that's not going to work with me. And I'm being respectful and I'm doing it in a kind way. Even my tone of voice has me labeled as an angry black woman.
Yep.
I'm demanding respect. I'm not angry. I mean, out there in the workforce, I'm talking about me, and I'm taking calls from patients, and I know that this person that I'm talking to already doesn't want to deal with me because of the color of my skin.
Yep.
And they can say whatever they want to say, but the minute my tone changes, because you hear me responding to that ignorance that I hear, now yes. I get a call from my boss. Well, somebody said somebody who said it. Okay, so I'm respected for who I am for all this time, but you get that one that says, I was disrespectful. I was what? No, I handled him like I would handle anybody else. So while navigating out there, and you're a black male, and this is good to have this conversation with someone that's not I didn't have sons, I have daughters, but at least not my grandsons, because I have not grandsons. I have nephews that are in the range 33, 34, something like that. And they don't play, Marklyn. They don't play. They're not for play.
It's a different generation coming up behind us.
What do you say about that? What do you say about that? Because they are not. You're like, man, please be cool. You don't lose. you want to lose.
Well, no. Here's what I'm gonna say. One, my generation. I'm 49 years old. My generation, we came off the back of civil rights, the women's movement, Vietnam, all types of unrest, drug wars, and everything. My parents, get your education, shut the hell up, and get a job, and that's it. Have a family. There's a joke running around amongst my friends that are like, dude, you're the most militant black guy, but at the same time, you're not militant. Like, nothing about you is militant, but you talk about pro-black stuff all the time. And I go, because...
Pro-black.
Well,
What's pro-black?
Well,
where did that come from? What's pro-black?
I have no clue. What I do is I speak up and tell people about the fact is you don't know what it's like to be a black person navigating this country or navigating this world, and you don't. And it's always, oh, you're looking, as you read further in the book, oh, you're looking to get something. You're trying to be a victim. And it's like, no, I'm telling you, I've watched how people treat white people in a workplace, treat white coworkers, and then treat me. I'm not allowed to be the confident black man. I'm not allowed to tell you who you are when you say the most disrespectful, ignorant crap to me. When I see how you treat me differently. If you look in the work world, black people coming in, as we move up the ladder, there's less and less of us. In Fortune 500 companies, less than 1% are black CEOs. Fortune 500 companies, right? Think about that. When they move people into management, think about how people start dwindling down and find because they don't look at black people as leaders. Look at the issue we're having in the NFL right now.
Don't start with me.
70%, but it's the truth. 70%.
Don't start with me. Do not go there with me.
But it's the truth. It's 70%.
How many people do these people not understand that we live, and it is the truth? You can have every person on that team is black, but
70%.
They care one iota about those lives? No. What they cared about more than anything was the fact that they lost so much money to COVID that we don't let y'all play, and we don't care about COVID, and we don't care about nothing, and we really admire the ones of you that are saying, well, it ain't real, because get out there. I'm sorry. Have you ever watched a documentary about how these young men are selected to play? It is like cattle. They're looked like cattle. They are looked over. Their bodies are looked over. Their height. What do you think that was? It was just like being on an auction block.
And they don't want to talk about that.
That's not for real. But
they don't want to talk about that. The reason why they don't want to talk about that is because automatically it's like, well, they're making millions of dollars. And it's like, so because somebody's paying me a lot of money, all of a sudden who I am as a person doesn't matter anymore.
But why am I taking $1 million? Marklyn, why am I taking I'm taking $1 million because you're pulling me up out of a situation where my mom was probably scrambling to put food on the table.
Yeah.
My dad was out, not in my household, and I was trying to take care of my mama, my brother, my sister, and I'm trying to keep myself out of the streets from selling some drugs that you all know is going to be what's going to come out of this if I stay in this situation. So $1 million, but you're going to give me $1 million, and you are not going to attach anything to that. So you're not going to give me any type of counseling to help me adjust from being butt broke to having $1 million. And then you're going to label me after you've used me up and say I have mental issues because now I'm going crazy. I don't know how to handle all this money. And you don't have anything in place to help these young men adjust to what will happen from having nothing to having $1 million to play with. Let's shut up about that. Don't get me started. You need to be my co-host. We need to do this on the bonus tip.
I will say this. When I started speaking out, a lot of people that I thought I was friends with stopped speaking to me.
Good.
And it hurt. These are people that I thought were lifelong friends. I would go out for drinks with them, and it hurt. And what I realized was this is the subliminal way of, well, maybe if we treat him like and stop talking to him, we'll put him back in his place. Because I didn't speak up. I was the very happy-go-lucky goofball. And what I've discovered, and again, the reason why I put out this book to go full circle is I want people to actually see how people act. Like they get a keyboard, they really show who they are as people. And, some people joke around and have fun. Some of my posts are in jest. I can tell you just the other day, I said, I know that we're all suffering from gas prices, right? But if you're on Facebook bragging about your Gucci watch, your expensive cars, your expensive vacations, all the clothing, and then you got the nerve to talk about, these gas prices are killing me. Well, maybe you need not. I don't care. People are struggling to put gas versus food on their table. Gas to get to work or food on the table. But you're on here and then some guys, oh, you're just missing their opinion. Dude, if you've got over $2 million in the bank, you ain't suffering.
You have a gas problem.
You don't have a gas problem. You've got a budgeting problem. You got a I don't know how to budget problem, right? And instead of talking to me, instead of having a conversation, they go into calling me a clown, calling me a joke, start talking about me on a personal level when what I said was never about them. It's a general thought that many people share. How dare you come on here?
What do you think? Don't you think sitting at the table with my husband and he comes in and he says he had to pay X number of dollars for gas, and then I see somebody on TV that just got out of a jet and he wants to make a comment on the price of gas? I don't want to hear what you have to say. You just got off of a jet, brother. You're not at that corner store filling up your car with the last $10 or $20 you have, and then have to figure out how you gonna rob Peter, Paul, and Mary to pay your food. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear any comments about it because you can't relate to it. Now you can say you're empathetic, you can say you have compassion, then you know what, if you're that compassionate about it, why don't you go down to your local corner store, stand at the door, or send one of your little minions and have them pay for people's gas as they go in and out that store. You want to do something about it? You feel bad about it? Then put your feet to the fire and go do something about it.
Tell them why you're mad. Tell them why you're mad, son. Tell them why you're mad.
Don't put no mic in somebody's mouth and expect me to understand how a millionaire is going to talk to me about gas problems. Are you serious? Now, just like that little trigger right there, we get triggered like that and we have a problem. Yeah. I get triggered like that and I'm missing the whole point. No, I'm not. You're missing the whole point. Let me shut up. No, it's again, at this point in my life, I'm 62. I get to say what I want to say.
And that's the thing. I fell in love with saying when I moved to Minneapolis in 2005. And Minneapolis there's a saying, Minnesota ice, Minnesota nice. They'll act very nice to you, but they're also very cold. And they're also very cliquey. They don't want to be associated with radical people. They don't want to be associated with. I found out my true blackness when I moved to Minnesota, because living in a white community here in New Jersey, I just thought I was a goofball hanging out. I knew I was black, but at the same time, I have white friends. I don't care. We break bread together. I found out real quick that I'm black when I moved to Minnesota.
What is that scene from the movie with Loretta Devine and Jumping the Broom? What is that scene?
You're black.
You're black. You're black.
I can't even be mad because it's funny the way she says it. You need to get off your.
Mama knows what that is. You're black.
Get over it. You're black.
Get over it. You're black. You're gonna wake up tomorrow. You black.
You black girl. Black.
Look, that's what the real folk think. When we see these other brothers and sisters living on planet Mars, and you're sitting at the TV and you're going, girl, don't you know you just as black as I am when you get off of that TV? When you step away from that camera, you still gonna be black. And yeah, they shaking your hand and they loving you now because you turning all of your folk against themselves. But sugar, once that changes and they have used you up for everything that you are, you're black. Yeah. You're still black. You're gonna be black.
Listen, there's no denying it at all. And what I say is the experiment, and I didn't want to make this all like, talking bad about stuff and everything. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about my book and stuff. I always look at it as the issue is, and you said it earlier, we don't have raw conversations like we used to have back in the day. Everybody's got their P's and Q's and politically correct face. And if you're the person that dares not to have the political correctness, if you're the person that just says what listen, I say what I feel. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. This is who I am. This is what I do. People don't know how to deal with that. And the reason why they don't know how to deal with it is because they've never looked in the mirror and looked at themselves and held themselves accountable for who they are. I know who I am. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for sympathy for someone. I don't want someone to give me a job because I'm a black guy. I want somebody to give me a job because I'm skilled, because I'm good with what I do. You know what I mean? But at the same time, don't hold this, well, he's a black guy, so he's only limited to this, or he can only do that. Let me show you what I can do. Let me be what I can be. I would have never thought I wrote 2 books. Literally, I wrote 2 books. And I stand here. Somebody told me the other day, they said, let me tell you. And again, this is why I say you can't buy your family. Your family's not always blood. And this was a gentleman that I've known for a while, off and on. And he said, dude, I want to tell you something. And I said, what? And he goes, no matter what anybody says about you, good or bad, you wrote 2 books. They're on Amazon. Your one book hasn't been published yet, but your other book has 32 good reviews. 4.9. No one can take that from you. When someone talks crap about you from now on, the only thing you got to say to them is, so let me get this straight. I'm a nobody with 2 books on Amazon. Okay. That perspective changed the game for me.
Look, now, wait. Y'all, this is all real. I'm not going to get all fancy and whatever with this, because I'm going to cut it here, but then I'm going to stop it and I'm going to start it back, because I'm going to use the part B. Y'all going to have to just subscribe, and you're going to have to catch the rest of this as bonus content.
There you go.
Say 30
get your money.
But let me say something. I have an audience that is very diverse, and I want my audience to know that for me, as a woman of color, if I'm upset about the injustices that have to do with me as a woman of color, that transfers over to any person of color, because I know that you are dealing with things just like I deal with it. Because I'm a person of color, you're a person of color. We both deal with the same thing, but on different levels.
Yep.
Secondly, I have beautiful, supportive Caucasian friends. And I don't lump anybody in any category and say every. I don't do that. But what is across the board the same is how we are seen in this country. That doesn't mean that just because you're white, I'm saying you're this or you're that. I'm telling you, and I'm saying, as a 62-year-old Black woman, that across the board in this country, there are disparities between how those who are Caucasian and those who are of other colors are treated. It's just that simple. That's the truth of it. And we don't have to be ashamed about it.
I love that you said that. And I try to explain this to people all the time. I'm not saying that every white person is racist. What I'm saying is, as a Black man and the way we view the world, we run into racism either on an overt level or a subvert level almost daily, some way, somehow. And the problem is now, unfortunately, because the man that was previously in the highest seat, he made it okay to be that much of an asshole to people again. It was quiet for a while. It was kind of like, we know, but hey, just don't deal with them anymore. And now we're finding out that people that we thought we were cool with, or people that we thought were like, oh, that's a good person. It was like, so you share the same mentality as him? You want to say the same about Asians, about Blacks, about gays, and you want to think that you're a victim?
Okay, we cutting it because we really need to he getting fired up and I'm getting fired up. So we're going to stop, and then we're going to pick our conversation back up. So thank you for joining me on the porch today. If you want to catch the part B, part 2, whatever you want to say, of this conversation with Marklyn, you're going to have to subscribe on Zippy Stream. But as you do that, I want you to be sure that the content that you receive on Zippy Stream will not be as nice as what you're hearing right now. It might level up a little bit. So I don't want you to, if you're a subscriber and you're going to be scared of what you're hearing, don't do that. I'm telling you, don't do that. But if you really want to hear the truth, the raw, unedited, because we don't edit, I'm not filtering out not one moment of this.
There's no filter with your man, MisterDirect.
Conversation.
Ain't no filter over here.
I might have to make Marklyn my co-host on Beyond the Porch. But thank you for joining me. I am so glad that you decided to join us on the porch. I look forward to meeting you right back here next Friday with a brand new episode. But part 2 of this conversation with Marklyn will be on the bonus content at Zippy Strength. You won't get it anywhere else. So you better try to go over there right now and subscribe. So thank you for joining me. You all be blessed.